Okay, just a note, we're going to try to, we will conclude at 10 o'clock this evening, and also note that next meeting's is May 5th, and the agenda items are due here by April 28th at noon. At this time, do we have any public comments? Questions? Gentleman have a question? His hand went up. No?
It's capital Kansas.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on then. The minutes.
I did not finish reviewing them, so I don't believe you have even draft there.
Yeah, they're not in.
We'll have to table it.
All right, move on. Let's go into the reports. Roadmaster's report.
Right, the Roadmaster, Wayne Barker, prepares the report, and the report for March 2009 is before the board and is available to the public for your review. Just real quickly, some of the highlights in addition to the normal duties that are mentioned here is that, as most folks know, March was very wet, whereas we had a lot of snow. In February, we had a lot of rain and heavy storms, so we had a lot of trees down that had to be cleaned up, and just general cleanup from storms. We also had a lot of work in and around the golf course, primarily the construction of the parking lot, and also here in the office building. Folks may or may not be aware that we had to remove, we were removing some carpet in the central part of the office, and underneath the carpet we found asbestos floor tiles. So we had to shut the office down for what turned out to be a day and a half, and then actually another day for the carpet guys to come back in and put the carpet down. So that took some of Wayne's time, and then we had to move everything out and then move everything back. So these were just some additional things that were done on top of the normal duties. So if you have any questions, if the board has any questions or the audience has any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them or pass them on to Wayne.
Building inspector.
Okay, this report is prepared by Shane Kinsey, our Code Administration Officer, for the month of March 2010. During the month, we issued 9 permits for new housing starts, bringing the year's total to 15, and we issued 14 residential certificates of use and 4 commercial certificates of use during the month, bringing those yearly totals to 23 and 5 respectively. And again, if there's any questions from the board or from the public, I'll either try to answer them or pass them on to Shane.
Can you give me an idea of what these numbers compare to last year's numbers at this time?
I'd have to, I'm not certain. Because these permits probably represent all homes at Innistrome that Ryan is building. And at the tail end of last year, in the, I guess I'll say the 4th quarter, we started issuing permits. So just going by memory, David, 1st quarter last year probably had 0 or 1 or 2 houses, but I don't know. I'd have to check.
I think I remember I was telling David, we actually only had 8 houses going into the autumn time. 8 total houses.
That very well could be, because again, Ryan did not start building homes in Innistrome until the fall, the summer and fall of last year.
All right, any other questions? Treasurer's report.
All right, this report, also for the month of March 2010, is prepared by Pat Morrison, our treasurer, who's in the back of the room. Pat notes, first off, that she has not yet compared our financial position to this time last year. She'll do that at the end of April. She also goes on to make note that we did receive our lump sum payment from Wilkinson for monies due to us, and she used those funds to pay the Southern Chester County EMS folks as well as the Avon Grove Library, so that they have their annual donations from the township already at the beginning of the year. Pat goes on to note that we've received our full liquid fuels and turned back allocation dollars from the state. And then in her last paragraph, she notes that we have spent the money that we had allocated for the park construction or park design and engineering. We've spent what we earmarked out of the general fund. We're not necessarily over budget, it kind of appears that way, but we had allocated $100,000 between the general fund and the recreation fund, and the reason we've stayed in the general fund is because once we go into the recreation fund, that means we'll be potentially putting in less improvements. We'll be spending those dollars on engineering, on soft costs and not on hard costs. So that's why we've stayed in the general fund for so long, I guess if I can put it that way. But again, this doesn't mean we're over the budget of $100,000. If there's any questions, again, either I'll try to answer them or Pat is here and she could respond as well.
I'd like to add one comment I didn't put in there for the board. The best of all of the staffs now is the transition to Berkheimer collecting real estate has gone smoothly. We have had very, very few calls, and it appears that we have made that transition in as smooth a manner as could be possible. For someone they could call locally to a formal business meeting.
You need a motion? Mr. C.
Yes, to adopt the treasurer's
Do I
report.
have a motion that we adopt the treasurer's report? Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The next item is odor report. We've got 6 reports. Steve, is there anything of noteworthy other than they're all?
No, we received 6 complaints during the month of March.
And is there any pattern? They all look like they're on
No,
23rd.
these are pretty, well, I've never really analyzed them for a pattern. I don't
Well,
think there's
they all
any
look like they're
pattern.
on, 5 of them are on one day, or 4 of them are on one day.
Well, yeah.
3 of them.
Right. I mean, that would make
Yeah.
sense. I mean, it's obviously doesn't smell all the time, so it's just,
One, I do have a question here, that they complained that they were about a mile away from the landfill. Are they under the impression that it might be the landfill? Third, 4th one down.
That's a good point, Bob.
that is a good point. I
Can
can
you call them back?
Yeah, that's a good point. I'll contact Secra and ask them about that.
Because we actually, Steve and I had a meeting with Secretary all the time. That's one thing we never got was complaining about the smell. So that's a good point, Bob. Yeah, I think they just waited.
They may, whoever made the complaint, they think it was.
They just made a mistake right now, that's all.